What's going on, guys? It's Sam and welcome to another video. You might have noticed that the set is looking a little bit different and it's been a bit of time since my last video, and that's because I moved. I moved into a completely new house, had to redo the setup, so do expect a setup / collection tour in the near future, but I thought a great way to get back into the swing of videos would just be a pickup manga haul. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the haul. So starting off, I picked up 2 volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen, volumes 0 and volumes 13. I went ahead and read volume 0 earlier on, specifically because I wanted to go see the movie in theaters. I just saw it last weekend, so on opening weekend, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good movie. Not great, I didn't like it as much as I did the Demon Slayer movie, but I really did enjoy it. And it was just nice seeing other characters get some limelight rather than the main 3 that we know in the main story. Moving on to volume 13, this is in the peak of the Shibuya invasion arc. Right now, the current arc that Jujutsu Kaisen is in, at least for the physicals, is some of my favorite manga I've read when it comes to shonen. There's been a twist of events when it comes to Yuji that I won't spoil, but it really does add another level of chaos to the arc. There's a level of uncertainty that doesn't really come in the shonen genre, so I'm really enjoying it and I definitely recommend it. Next up, we have Mob Psycho 100 volume 7. This is another, we're getting these pretty slow, but this is a series that is really near and dear to my heart, as you can tell from my profile picture and the sort of the themes on the channel. But I love One and his work. If you enjoy One style of humor and characters, like if you enjoyed Mob Psycho, the anime, or One Punch Man, I can strongly recommend the manga. It is a different style of manga. It's more simplistic, it's less flashy of an art style because it is a webcomic, but it's got a great charm to it, and I really love every volume that I read. It's one of my go-tos when it comes to comedy and humor, and I think if you do like the humor in those series, then this is a strong recommendation from me, and this is a great volume. Next up, we have Freerin, or Freerin, I think it's Freerin, volumes 1 and 2. If you watch my manga shopping video, you know that I picked both of these up, and I read them very quickly after that video, and I absolutely adored them. This is definitely a series that's going to be on my pickup list going forward. I really enjoyed these first 2 volumes. It's a high fantasy setting with mages and mythical creatures like dragons, but it's more of a slow burn. I won't say drama, but it's more of a down-to-earth emotional journey of our main wizard, and it's about a wizard, or I believe she's an elf, who lives a significantly longer life versus normal humans and normal people in the world that she lives in. What I like about this story is that it starts off at the end of a journey. It starts off at the end of a journey of her and her other party members that are just finishing this grand mission to essentially save the world. And everywhere they go, they're adored as these great heroes. But while Freerin continues to live on, the other people that were part of her party that she journeyed with eventually die, or we see them get very, very old. And it kind of puts things into perspective for Freerin as she moves on and as she spends her days, really questioning, what she values and, who she spends the time with, and it changes her perspective on life. And while it is more of like a philosophical story, very much does still lean into the high fantasy aspect of the world, and it's really beautifully done. I love the characters, and it's just a really endearing journey so far, and like I said, it's easily going on my to pick up list. I'm going to plan on picking up the next volume whenever I can get my hands on it. Okay, so next up we have more Chainsaw Man volumes 8 and 9. I believe volume 10 just came out, so expect me to be picking up in my next manga haul. And I think we're only getting 11 volumes, so I believe that's going to be the last one for this first part of Chainsaw Man. These volumes were fantastic. I'm going through my second reread of Chainsaw Man because it was when I first started reading, it was when it was finished. It was completed in the scans, and I read it through the Shonen Jump app, and I read it within 2 days. I absolutely adored it. These 2 volumes, there's a stages within Chainsaw Man. The first stage where it's like, okay, this is a pretty good series. The second stage where you're like, whoa, this is way different than I expected. This is insane. I'm really enjoying it. It's really gritty, really dark. And then the third stage where it's just like, this is on a different level. What the hell is going on? and we're deep in that third stage right now. So I won't show too much for the sake of spoilers. These 2 volumes will leave you needing to take a moment, especially volume 9. There's some moments in volume 9 that as I reread, I knew it was coming in, but I was just like, they really did that. And that's a lot of Chainsaw Man, but it's what makes it enjoyable, in my opinion. And it's not just like shock factor. There's good writing behind some of the events that happen, and it's just a fantastic series. It's really making me want to pick up Fire Punch by the manga Fujimoto. Cannot find it for the life of me. It's been a very challenging find, but that is one of the things definitely on my 2 pickup list. Really enjoyed those 2 volumes. Next up, we have Record of Ragnarok, or Record, I think it's Record of Ragnarok. What a macho series. Read that in one sitting as soon as I got it. It's about this epic tournament that goes on between the best of the gods and the best of mankind. And, you know, we start off in this scene of, we're in this coliseum of all of these gods arguing amongst each other if they're deciding the fate of humanity, if they deserve to live further on, or if they should end humanity and wipe them off of extinction. And they're going back and forth on how they don't bring any value. And then there's this one character, I believe she's a Valkyrie, who is part human, part god, I might be mistaken. She knows that these gods are very prideful beings, so she challenges them to a tournament. Best of man versus best of god, and they go in these rounds. And the winner gets to decide the fate of humanity. It's a pretty intense plot just off the bat, but then we get into it and it's just really great action. So if that synopsis sounds interesting to you, I can easily recommend it. I really enjoy my time with this, and I'm definitely picking up volume 2. I might have even started reading some of the chapters online because I really enjoyed it. But great pickup, can easily recommend it, especially if you're in the mood for something that's less, you know, philosophical and just more action oriented. Then I can definitely recommend this. Next up, this might be my best pickup of the haul. I got a lot of good stuff, so it says a lot. But next up, we got My Dress Up Darling, volumes 1 through 4, and you know I had to pick this up. I've been absolutely loving the anime. I know it's finishing up very soon, and I had the bug and I needed to pick up the manga to continue the story because I was tired of waiting. And I absolutely adore this series. My only issue with it is that we don't have more of it. So I believe the first 5 volumes are going to conclude where the anime ends off, and then after that will be brand new territory. While on the outside this series does seem more like a cheap fan servicey ecchi rom-com, I would highly suggest you to put those notions aside and take a dive into the first couple episodes, because what might seem like a simplistic story is really an enduring and emotional journey between these 2 high schoolers, and it's got a lot of themes of acceptance and individualism, and it's really a beautiful romance between these 2 characters, Gojo and Kitagawa, who both are very unique in some of the hobbies that they have, but they accept each other for that. And it's a really beautiful thing to see blossom and kind of the adventures they go through as they're growing as people. It's a series that I can absolutely recommend. I'm loving every chapter that I've read. Was so glad to pick this up. It'll definitely be on my collection going forward. I'm going to be picking up more volumes as well. But if you're in the mood for like a slice of life romance that's more mature, I can definitely recommend it because it's a great series. I've enjoyed every volume so far. After that, I picked up Grand Blue Dreaming volume 14. Those of you who know me know that this is one of my favorite series, and I always got to read these as soon as I pick them up. I believe this volume kind of concludes the summer job arc where they become deckhands, or they work for a diving company. I believe it's Chisa's mom that owns the company, but they work for her for a summer to build up some funds, and it's kind of like a nice little setting change from the college environment. The series is definitely starting to slow down a bit as far as the jokes and getting more into getting deeper into the relationship, dramatic romance aspects. This one we really get to see a more intimate and deeper side between Chisa and Kitahara, which is typically, they're butting heads, kind of have that sibling relationship. But since Chisa's kind of going through this difficult time with her mother, we get to see a more sweet side of her as her and Kitahara are bonding. while also there's some subplots going on. And there's definitely still the comedy in this volume. I loved it, but it's nice to see a different side of Grand Blue Dreaming, more intentional. So really, there's not much more I can say about Grand Blue Dreaming. There's a reason that it's so highly regarded and why it's up so high up on my anime list as far as top rankings. So if a comedy slice of life with some fantastic art, oh my goodness, I didn't even really mention that, but some of the sceneries like within the ocean when they're diving, that's really where the art shines. But the characters and the environment design are beautiful as well. But the art really elevates this series, especially from a comedic aspect when it's very over the top, some of the jokes, and the art really enhances that. But absolutely love Grand Blue Dreaming, and I can recommend it to any manga reader because it's a great series. And then switching gears a bit, I did pick up some Western comics this month. Well, one of them I picked up a bit ago, but I never showed up on the channel. First one I picked up is this comic by Grant Morrison called All-Star Superman. This is definitely out of my comfort zone, Western comics, so I might be speaking incorrectly. I'll try not to, but I believe this is a one-shot take on Superman that takes inspiration from many different runs of Superman, and it's condensed into a pretty small volume. But it just has different sides of Superman, showing the synopsis of this story is that Superman starts off on a mission to save some astronauts who are trying to take some sort of resource from the sun, maybe energy, and it's a relatively simple rescue mission for Superman. But what he doesn't know is that it's actually devised by Lex Luthor to get him so close to the sun, because a lot of his energy comes from an energy source like the sun, and because there's so much that he's absorbing because he's so close, he actually begins to slowly die. We don't really see a degradation of Superman, but he comes to terms with the fact that he knows he's going to die, and there's not a solution for him. So we just get to see different storylines with him knowing that, seeing him spend time with Lois, him, protecting Earth, going on various different journeys, spending time with his mom, and we get to go see when he first lost his father, his Earth parents, not his real ones from Krypton. But I've never been a big fan of Superman, in all honesty, but this series gave me a different perspective on him. I think there's a lot more depth to the character than I ever really gave credit, and I thought this was a beautiful volume. It really had an emotional impact on me, especially towards the end, and I'm definitely way more open to taking in some more Superman content. I just think these most recent DCEU movies are part of the reason why I haven't been so excited about him. And then the last thing that I picked up that I did want to show off is this Batman Omnibus 1 by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. So again, new to the world of comics, but Scott Snyder is the writer and Greg is the penciler, I believe, so the artist, and they have different people who handle the coloring. But I was on a bit of a Batman high. I know that when it comes to DC Comics, there's a lot of great material for Batman that we don't really get to see in the movies or even the games. I'm a big fan of the Arkham Asylum games, and this was an amazing read. There's mainly three main arcs. The first one is the Court of Owls, which is a villain that I've never seen with Batman, and it's more of a political villain that's deeply rooted into the ties of Gotham. And I loved that arc. I really loved to get to see more about that villain. And this kind of kicks off Scott Snyder's run of Batman, so we get a bit of an introduction. The second main arc is Death in the Family, which is a story based around Joker and the Bat family, which is like Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, and that was one of the creepiest versions of the Joker I've ever seen, where it really feels like Batman is kind of playing Joker's game and he's just trying to catch up. And even towards the end of the story, end of the arc, you never really feel like Batman won, that Joker kind of let him win. That was a fantastic take on Joker. And then the final one is Zero Year, which is where Scott takes a step back and shows us a bit more of the origin of Bruce, his take, and then it's him versus the Riddler. And it's very similar to the most recent Batman movie, where Riddler is, definitely leading the Batman on, and Batman's kind of just playing his game. But it takes it to a different level in this run, where you really feel like Batman does not have a chance to win. And it's a lot of great growth for the character, and just an amazing book. Definitely plan on picking up the second Omnibus by Scott, because I know that's out and it's not too expensive, and it's really started to spark my love for Western comics, so expect to see more of those on the channel. But that's going to do it for the haul. Like I said, you know, lack of videos is due to the move. Everything is set up, so I do plan on doing a collection tour relatively soon. I also kind of have a gaming setup that you can't see that I'm pretty proud of, so I'll show that off at the end of the collection video. But yeah, expect that, expect more hauls. I plan on doing more impression videos of series, maybe even some more impressions on like Western comics that I'm reading. So that's going to do it for the video. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Your support means the world to me, and it really invigorates me to continue making content for this channel. So thank you guys so much for the support. Let me know down some of the pickups that you've been reading, or what your thoughts are on my pickups, and if there's any specific ones that you like more. But without further ado, I'm going to close out the video. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.